Starting. And we are live. Good evening, everyone. It is Masculine Geek number 17, and we're a little bit late, maybe by a few seconds or maybe a minute or so. Thank you for waiting, whoever's in the chat. Thank you for hanging out. We're going to do sort of a seat of your pants sort of broadcast tonight. We do have some things for show and Geek and Tell, as always, but it's going to be a general discussion. I mean, we may talk about some personal things. We may talk about things on Twitter. We may delve into some esoteric geek things as well. And we may also field some questions from the chat or some suggestions from the chat. So feel free to engage us in that manner. So who wants to go? Oh, TJ's muted. Oh, no, he's not. He's back. Who wants to do their Geek and Tell first?
Ooh, me. I'll go first since nobody's fucking stepping up.
Well, I was. If no one's saying anything in the next second or so, I was gonna get into mine. But yeah.
Well, you can follow up then.
Absolutely.
So but to give a hat tip to Vince, it was him that actually made me realize I had something. Because initially I sat down and we were talking at our pregame show, I guess you could call it, and I'm like, I got nothing. The couple of things that I wanted to bring on, I don't know where I put them. So it's like, I got nothing, man. I guess I'm just not going to have anything tonight. But then Vince, is going to show you guys something really cool. But when he showed me one of them, I was like, oh my God, I got something. And here it is. This is what I got. It is the DVD box set, entire Battlestar Galactica, the whole thing.
Really cool.
Yeah, you can't really see it on the camera too well, but this little strip in the right light, it will do the eye that the Cylons had. Let's open up the treasure.
It's,
Whoa.
It is like treasure.
Yeah, it's got a booklet that comes with it. It's a collector's book. It talks about every episode. And the funny thing was, I never thought about it as a kid when this was like on television after the movie came out, which I actually have the original movie too. But I always thought that there was like multiple seasons of Battlestar Galactica, the original. There's not. There's only the one season.
It's true. That's right. Yeah.
But the way it seemed to me as a kid, like there was so many episodes that I thought, oh God, there had to be like 2-3 seasons, like a whole bunch. I mean, Lauren Green, guys, Lauren Green, you remember him.
Admiral Adama.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apollo and Starbuck, not the female Starbuck, but the actual Starbuck. But I found out that holy shit, it actually had only one season. That was it. But this goes through the entire thing. There's the booklet. There's, of course, the DVD set.
Oh, cool.
That folds out. So you've got all the DVDs in them. It's phenomenal. It's a huge ass thing. I ended up sitting down and watching it after I bought it, and it was like 10 hours of stuff to watch.
Oh, that's great.
And I think if I remember right, with these, there's I think there might even be some stuff from like the director and some of the cast. Kind of oh yeah, when we did this and did that. There's a lot of commentary on it. But yeah, so that's kind of my geek and tell for the night is the Battlestar Galactica, the complete epic series DVD collector's box set.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's got a bunch of deleted and alternate scenes in it, all kinds of stuff, guys. But
okay,
so I have to thank you for that, Vince, because when you showed me one of yours, it was like, fuck, I've got something. Yay.
Cool, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All
Glad
right.
to help out.
That's mine.
Okay, we can segue to mine, and I'll start with the one that kind of triggered you, as it were. Not a huge comic. Well, I shouldn't say. I do like comics. I don't superhero comics. I would never really cared about too much as a kid. Although I enjoyed remember the original Hulk with David Banner.
Yeah, David Banner.
David Banner, and then that short-lived horrible Spider-Man experiment they did with him. I forget the name of the actor who did that. And then there was Shazam, and who else?
Oh yeah, Shazam.
The Greatest American Hero. You had but not much because you didn't have CGI. But I did pick up these. The first I have the first four in the series. Let me go through them one at a time. So you got that kicks it off, and these are I believe these are the I think wasn't there a movie like a pilot movie, a pilot to the series? Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of that box set actually.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Yeah. And then number 4, I always liked this cover. It's always kind of cool with the Vipers.
Yep.
And then I've always been a huge Raiders of the Lost Ark fan. I got the movie adaptation, the movie tie-in, which was a three set, and with the first one coming out in 1981. And I was fortunate enough to see all the movies in the movie theater. So in 1981, I was 11. That's before we had these huge movie space arcs where you have 14 and 20 fucking screens. 500.
Yeah, you had the one theater and it wasn't stadium seating. And when you were the little kid, you always got sat behind the guy that had the tall head and you couldn't see shit. Yeah,
exactly. We had this. This was something. This was in the Morristown Mall, and it was called the Twin Eric Theater. So there were 2, and it was really weird because it emptied out into the mall, and across the mall hallway was oh yeah, Dr. Jones. Absolutely, no time for love, Dr. Jones. Across from the Eric Theater was a Pathmark, the supermarket, which you wheeled your cart up to the cashier, and there's the conveyor belt that you had your food on, which was moved by a foot pedal on this weird contraption, and it emptied out into the mall. So you got your bags of your groceries and went out into the mall, and either took your stuff to the mall or out into the parking lot. It's kind of weird. You don't see that kind of thing anymore. I mean, malls themselves are dying.
Yeah.
So. But anyway, yeah, that's mine. I actually I'll have to maybe on Saturday when we do the cartoon, I'll bring out some more of the my esoteric non-superhero comics that I like to follow. So yeah.
Right. So
don't get too excited. Jesus Christ! So now it's your turn. Go ahead.
It's his turn.
His turn.
So I've had this since I was a kid. And what it is, it's a cannon that you would have something here, and I've never seen it because it was my uncle's when he was a kid. You would be able to fire a shot from these cannons, and I think you can still get.
It's actually working. Like it would be a workable cannon.
Yeah, it would be a workable cannon, but it was given to me when I was probably in first grade, and so I've pretty much just kept this thing with me through thick and thin. So it's gone with me. It's almost like a paperweight now on some of my stuff at college or when I was in my apartments or whatever. So it's kind of been I don't know why I kept it. It was really cool, and I played with it a lot when I was a kid and in different scenes. Like I don't know, we had fun with it. And one of the things I would use that to play with would be the action figures, the little plastic soldiers. And speaking of which, that right there is cool. The only remaining plastic soldier from my collection.
Literally the last man standing.
He is the last man standing, right? Hey, which by the way, think about this. What is he doing? He's fixed bayonets.
It's fixed bayonets. Yeah. There you have, that's our mascot.
That is the mascot. I like that. I kind of like that.
Our mascot Geek mascot.
We'll have to talk sometime. Maybe. Did you guys ever play, speaking of plastic soldiers, the game series Army Men? It was by 3DO.
The video game, yeah.
That was almost at the same time. So it came out around the same time as the Star Wars prequels. And my attitude towards them was the same as the Star Wars prequels. Each time they would come out with a new one, and I would go either watch it or play it and I'm thinking, this is going to be the game where they're going to get it right. And they wouldn't get it right. And then I'd wait for the next one to come out, and they would not get it right. And then finally the series is over, and you're realizing they never are going to get it right because it's over. So that was kind of my way with, Army Men RTS, real-time strategy or whatever it was. That was actually, it's a kind of a fun game to play. But they never did what every single person who picked up a copy of that game was hoping for, which is using the traditional soldiers to have these battles in a backyard or something like that. The creators never really understood that at all, and I was always shocked that they couldn't connect that. Like, you have Age of Empires, but it's plastic soldiers and it's in some kid's backyard, right? So you could dam up the creek, could build a bridge over it, or you could do all this different stuff, or you could build weapons that have magnifying glasses that'll melt other troopers, or like that kind of stuff. It takes a 9-year-old's imagination to come up with that game. That's how easy it is. It takes an adult to remove that all. At least, I think we lost Vince again.
Yeah, he's back.
It's our weekly Vince
Drop off.
Unbelievable.
It wouldn't be an episode of Masculine Geek without Vince fucking dropping off.
It's like a thing now. It's everyone's waiting for it. And we're gonna
Time it. We're gonna have a pool. We're gonna have different minutes. Everyone's gonna buy a slot. When's Vince gonna fall off the chat?
It's actually very early now. I'm surprised it's happened so quickly.
Right. I wasn't going to show this, but somebody was going to throw it away, and it was one of those old GI Joes.
Oh, cool.
And I ended up salvaging him, so he's now next to the cannon on one of my writing desks.
Nice.
I don't know. I always feel like some of those old stuff, you never know what's going to happen to them, and a part of me is thinking that physical toys, are they even going to be around at some point? I mean, this is why I kind of freaked out about some of the plastic soldiers, because they don't really make them anymore because kids don't play with them. And if they do, they're these very cheap, like bright, shiny plastic sheen.
There's no detail.
There's no detail in them, because I bought the original versions of some of the soldiers that I had lost. And then I got the new versions of that were made by a different company, and it was just they looked like shiny alien vomit, the plastic soldiers. So I just said, okay, I got to get the originals, and so I ended up getting them. Mm-hmm. But that's why I'm actually I got some friends who probably still have theirs, and I just think that kids at some point, I just see all these kids on their cell phones. So it's all online games. And I think that there's something to be said about playing with physical toys in for your part of your childhood. I think that they're losing something. They're losing their ability to have imagination because they aren't creating their own worlds. Their world's being predetermined by an online game. And they have to stare down. They can't be immersed in the world that's actually around them. It's almost as though they're saying the matrix, the digital world, the online world is preferable to what's around them.
Yeah, that's true. It's really taking over the like you said, our toy's going to be around another 15, 20 years.
Yeah. And then that's when all this stuff that's cheap, you get for a couple bucks, it's suddenly worth. It's the same thing with the Nintendo 64 games. You used to be able to get them for $3 at a GameStop. Now they're $20, $30 because people throw them away. They get rid of them. So I don't know. I don't envy kids nowadays who, especially with parents who see it as one person described it as an electronic babysitter. You just give them the phone and the kids won't go anywhere, right? I think that was their point. Give them a phone and they'll just sit on the couch for hours. Whereas when I was a kid, my parents frowned on video games because they thought it was making us lazy. So they highly discouraged it. They were wanting us to go out and play outside or do something and not be staying indoors. Well, now it's almost like parents want their kids to stay put. Don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. We're going to helicopter around you. We're going to completely monitor your behavior. And the best way to do that is by giving you a cell phone and having you play online games.
Yeah, no, when we were younger, my brother and I were limited to an hour a day with the Atari 2600 that we had.
Yeah. Somebody in the comments said the best part about Green Army Men and G.I. Joes was lighting them on fire. I guess. Boy.
Like I said, I have to say I never did that. We used to set them up on either different sides of the room and have like little buildings and stuff. And then we would get rubber bands and try to shoot the Army Men down. I think I mentioned that before.
Right. And the thing is, I was young when Toy Story came out. And if you watch that movie as a child, your perspective on how you treat toys changes, right?
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
it's like, you don't burn the plastic soldiers. They support you also. Now, of course, I also pride myself on my collection and the ability to maintain stuff. Whereas other people were thinking, oh, let's take this guy and blow him up, which it did happen to one of these guys. We had one of these plastic soldiers, or not plastic. He was plastic, but he was electronic. So you would put a battery in him, or he was in a prone position, and you would wind him up, and then he would do the whole, crawl thing on the ground. Well, one of my buddies did strap a firecracker to his back.
Oh, God.
You kind of have to almost have it's almost like tying a firecracker to a cat's tail. It's kind of sadistic. Like I was never one of those guys.
There's no kind of that. That's
That's like putting two cats in a burlap bag and then throwing it over a clothesline to watch them.
Vince, that was very, very detailed.
You like that? I didn't do that. No, I'd love.
For the record, never.
For the record, I have no animals were harmed during my youth.
In my youth,
yes. I can't say now. This cat that I have now is shitting all over the apartment. I'm gonna
he's pissed at you.
I know. I'm gonna beat him.
And this is why I'm a part-time owner of a dog, not the full-time.
There you go.
It's like custody. Is it my turn to have Reese?
Yeah, except as the man in this situation, I benefit from that arrangement.
Ralstonian report. Yes, I used to do that as well.
Yeah, and so we never blew them up, but man, we would get these. I mean, we're talking 500 plastic soldiers on like on a bedroom floor, right? And then of course, what would happen. You'd have to account for the fact that the bedroom door is closed, and then someone suddenly opens it up and
then knocks everything all over.
Something that took you 2 hours to do, and you're sitting there, or if you had to share a bedroom, which didn't really happen with me at that point, but you're just dreading, you're going to work on it, and then your brother's going to go in and just call your name and then kick it and just toss everything aside, and then of course you get into a fight. Something gets hurt, somebody gets hurt, something gets broken. There's yelling and screaming. Your parents don't have enough time to figure out who did what and who started, so they just
you're both grounded.
So both are grounded, and you hope that their memory spans are so short they'll forget about it.
They're so busy with something else that they forget that you're grounded, and you go,
Right.
For me, being grounded didn't matter because my friends were books. I had real friends, but I was like, all right, you know what? Oh, you're gonna go to church on Sunday, or you're grounded. I don't fucking care.
Well, that was the problem my parents also had with me is they'd say, you're gonna go to your room for an hour and not leave. Okay, great. I'll just pick up a book. And then one time they're gonna punish me, and one of my parents said,
your books.
Well, if we put him in his room, he's gonna read. We don't want to discourage him from knowing how to read books. He'll pull out his plastic soldiers and play with those. We don't want to discourage that because at least he's not demanding to get a video game console. So we're kind of in and when you hear those words as a child, you're like, I'm invincible.
Yes. Like power.
The other one I used to do when my parents would ground me, and my mom figured it out real quick, is I would be helpful around the house.
Yeah.
Oh, here, Mom, let me help you out. And then I'd bust dishes or fucking jack up the carpet or something. But I was trying to be helpful, and she'd finally be like, you know what? Go, get out of here. Go outside, do something, get away from me.
Yep.
And that was always fun doing that too.
Yeah.
You made yourself so helpful that you were just at that point, it was like, go outside. That was your punishment.
Yeah. Go outside, go see your friends, go do something, get out of here.
Yep.
Because you're being helpful.
Not so helpful.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how a lot of these toys right now are actually now. Granted, they're not made in Taiwan or Japan anymore, because you can tell when a toy was made by just looking at on its foot or on the side to say where was it made. If it was made in China, it's recent and it's probably going to be garbage. If it was made in Japan, it came out in the 80s or 70s and it's actually decent condition. If it came out in the late 80s and 90s, it was in Taiwan, and those are okay. The Japanese made the best products of the three. But nowadays the toys are cheap, but kids don't want that. They want the really fancy stuff.
Yeah.
They have to be. It's just funny how so we were just talking about how it was so hard for parents to punish you if you were into reading or into just you were okay with being alone in your room. Like solitary confinement was almost a reward, right?
Mm.
We're going to tell no, we're going to tell everybody you can't talk to them, you can't hang out with anybody, and we're not going to bother you. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's
We're
perfect.
just
Well, you know, it's
so
funny when you talk about like kids today with toys and not being interested. I mean, not that I wasn't interested in toys growing up, but my father had different toys. I mean, he had more substantial ones, like the metal soldiers that were more substantial,
right.
and he always talked about that as compared to there's cheap plastic soldiers now. So it's all in context.
Right. Well,
So
and so I was saying how parents struggle to punish kids who are like that now, whereas I think the other thing that parents like about getting their kids addicted to the cell phone is it's easy to punish them. Just take away the cell phone, and then they've lost all connection with their friends. They've lost all the games that they want to play. I've seen it where parents they're yelling at their kids because they don't actually discipline them, constantly yelling at them. The kids ignoring them, and then they finally just grab the cell phone and take it away, and the kids start having a nuclear meltdown. Um, so I think that the wise kid today will learn to appreciate physical toys because that's a lot harder for the parents because then they have to actually go collect them all, right, and store them away. Whereas with the phone, they just snatch it. They put all the eggs in one basket. So a kid who's not dependent on a cell phone today is in a much stronger position to gain some independence than kids that don't. And I'm not the one to give out parental advice or anything because I'm a bachelor, but if I had a kid, I would want him to stay away from cell phones for as long as possible. I would say I would give him a landline in the house. But Dad, everybody sends texts. Well, I think what are kids on today? Do they even do? Because I know they're on Facebook. The younger kids.
Fucking
Are they on?
Snapchat and TikTok and so I don't
what the
even
fuck
know
is
the name of all
what's a
those.
TikTok?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
some kind of a video thing, kind of like Snapchat.
I can't believe
It's
we're.
kind of like Vine, if you remember Vine when that was around a few years ago for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
5 minutes, and you could do like 20-second clips or something.
What the
That's kind
fuck?
of like what TikTok is.
What is wrong with parents? I mean, not for nothing, we're giving children the power of the media. Think about that, for good or for
Yeah.
ill, at their fingertips. It's quite frightening, actually. Their own
Well,
ego. What the hell is an ego? I mean, I know what an ego
Well,
is,
we
but
know what your ego is.
it's pretty big. It's up there.
they are on EG. Oh, it's probably an app. I mean, I can't believe I'm at the point in my life when I'm actually asking this question of what the young people
Get
are
off
doing.
my lawn. You damn
Gray
kid.
wave. We're old. We're tired.
Jesus.
Get off our lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
I mean,
having bad
well,
weeks. We're trying to be positive here.
yeah. Well, no,
We're struggling.
But the funny thing is that there are kids in my neighborhood that are out playing right now, and if
Yeah.
they go on I'm not one of those
They
guys.
go on your lawn.
They have. I mean, they get down the lawn. I'm like, at least these kids are out there being social, and I don't see a cell phone among a single one of
No,
them. So
that's really good.
at least they're
That's really
normal. I mean, I'm dealing with socially adjusted young children rather than ones who are they don't know how to communicate with you if you're not on a phone. They're not one of those people who if you haven't contacted them online, they don't know how to introduce themselves in person. They need to be. It might be at this certain point in the future when guys like us will be teaching young kids as part of some consulting gig how to interact with someone for the first time in real life, where you go up to them, you offer them your hand, you go like this a couple of times, and you say, "Hi, my name is fill in the blank, whatever your name is. Now you practice with us, and that'll be $200 an hour."
There you go.
And we charge by the hour, and we will not be cheap, and we will give you the social skill education that your parents apparently were too lazy to do for you. Oh, and then we'll teach you. Well, depending on what the age is, but I don't know. It's kids. If you haven't played with certain toys, I feel like you're getting cheated out of a childhood, right? If you've never dammed up a little creek or stream, if you've never
even flown a kite.
I mean, so my cousin he grew up where his parents still live out in a rural area of Washington, and they own several acres of land that's not been developed at all. It's just acreage. So one of the things we would do is we would watch World War II movies or TV shows like Combat, and then we would go play with plastic soldiers like this guy. And then we would go dress up in our GI Joe combat gear and march out in the middle of the woods. And we would pretend we'd pretend like we're that platoon or that squad from combat, right? We'd imagine the Krauts out in the out in the forest, and we got to take this building. And so we had fun with it. But how many of the kids today do that stuff?
I don't know. I mean, we got yelled at to go outside. Get your goddamn ass outside. or not. And I'm sorry, I have that backwards. I mean, parents today have to yell at their kids, "Get your ass outside." And then when we were younger, it's like, "Get inside. Come inside for dinner." You know.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, this is a fact, is that the younger generation is not getting their driver's licenses. And
really,
it's a recent phenomenon, but I would want to break down the statistics or look at the actual data of examining the question of why. And one of the questions might be, or the reasons why they're not getting their driver's licenses is there's a couple of reasons, but one of them seems to be that their parents are willing, or in my opinion, this is just based on my gut feeling, parents today complain that their kids don't get driver's licenses, yet they will act as their personal chauffeur because it is a way of maintaining control over the child. So the kids online, right? And also, kids don't have to go anywhere anymore to socially interact online. You can just be in your room.
That's true too. You can be on your Snap Vines or whatever the fuck.
I did a podcast on how there's the whole Fortnite addiction that some kids have, but also their parents are paying people $20 an hour to teach their kid how to play Fortnite, and so
they can fit in.
Well, I think that's one of the ways that they interact today is online, so they don't have to ever leave their parents' house. But I'm trying to understand it. I feel like I need to go do some actual, because one of the complaints that I have of older generations, like the boomers, not really Gen Xers, because they don't care. You guys don't care. But,
that's right. We
don't give a shit.
But they're always they don't understand the generations that are younger, so they write about them from just ignorance. And so I'm thinking, okay, if we want to understand the younger generation, actually talk to them and hope they'll be socially competent enough to actually understand what you're asking them. For example, if you're asking them, why don't you have a driver's license? What is the main way you guys socially interact with each other? I mean, it was kind of the joke where older generation was giving my generation grief about dates. And one of my friends goes, the dating doesn't exist. There's no dates, right? It's Netflix and chill, right? That's where it's reduced down to, but they aren't aware of that because they're not asking those questions. So.
That is true. We have to send you out into the field.
So.
Well, I mean, that kind of ties in.
An agent in the field.
That kind of ties in with, like I see a lot of these younger people like on Twitter talking about, how do I get the girls type of thing to hat tip to Aaron there, to irritate him a little bit. But it's they really don't know how to interact, and it's because all of their interactions are via some type of texting, whether Facebook, Snapchat, whatever. They don't do face-to-face interactions anymore. And it's like, so how do you interact when you don't know how, other than sitting on your phone? I mean, me and my ex-girlfriend, when we'd go out to dinner, we'd put our phones away and just talk, and we would people watch, and it was funny, but it was mostly sad that we'd look around and like everybody, and not just younger people, but just in general, they're sitting at the table looking at their phones, texting or doing whatever they're doing, but they're not talking to each other. And it's like, wow, how sad is that? Why bother going out?
Well, I think I know why, because I've thought about it a lot, because sometimes I'll do it. And it's because what can you talk about with people anymore?
I got plenty of things to talk about.
Well, I know you got plenty of things to say, but I'm saying that with most people, it's the realm, the degree, the range of allowable opinion or topics that you can discuss that are not considered like religion, politics, basically everything's become politicized. So most people don't want to talk about that stuff. I think people are also terrified. They don't really know what someone else thinks. And so on a certain topic. And so they just avoid discussing those things because there's nothing to talk about. I think also we're a society where because they're doing stuff online, they're not doing a lot of stuff in person. So especially for men, if we're not doing stuff together, there's nothing to say because our communication, it verbally is based around what are we about. It's about discussing what we're going to do together. And if men aren't doing stuff together, look, you can watch movies every now and then, but at some point you got to do stuff. And that's what was great for being a boy in earlier years, is that you would be able to go out there and build a fort in the woods, and you'd be discussing with the other boys about, we chop down this tree, where's the axe, can you sneak it out of your dad's garage without him noticing, where's the duct tape, that was a lot of duct tape, your dad's going to flip out when he sees that all of his duct tape's gone. Like those kind of conversations that we would see as pretty basic, but you can't have that conversation if you're not doing it. So when people go to hang out with each other, it's to either consume, but it's not based around doing things anymore.
As long as you buy me breakfast, you little fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
Yeah, the chat's pretty funny. Making me blush. That's
oh my
funny.
God.
It's all smoke and mirrors, see?
Yeah, see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, that just derailed everything.
God
Jesus.
help us.
God damn.
I just come in with the wrecking ball.
That hair, yes. Well, the hair is the hair is going
TJ's
gray.
blushing for you, Vince.
I know, right? The hair is going gray, but it's not only that hair.
No, it's like we can't get away from it. It's everywhere.
That's right. The motorcycle
the pause is everywhere.
The motorcycle and the silver fox look is a great chick magnet. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rob gets a lot of the chicks with that sexy beard that he has.
No, I just get him with the motorcycle. I already said
That's
that.
true. Well, the motorcycle and the beard.
There you go.
It's a dual package. Now, TJ, you need a motorcycle. You got to get yours.
Well, I saw one on Craigslist for around $500, but it's a dirt bike that he converted into a cafe racer, seating and all that. I don't know. The advantage of buying in person is you don't have to pay sales tax. At the same time, I want to know the devil I'm dealing with. And when you go to a dealer, they're going to give you the brass tacks. Like my car cost me a lot of money to buy it through a dealer, but I know they have the whole history of its ownership. They have the history of what had been done on it, when it needed repairs. And I just don't want to get stuck with a motorcycle that I pay money for, and then I got to go work on it. And I'm working on improving my mechanical skills, and it's gotten better, but that's an area of my life where I'm not naturally inclined. That's not where I have natural talent. I have to really think about it and all that stuff. So anything that deals with mechanics, okay, I need to check the chat.
That's part of what makes it funny.
Yeah.
Is that
What do you people want? You're flat. What do you want? What do you want? That's funny.
Oh, shit.
Somebody say something nice about TJ. Hurry up, quick.
No.
Hey, you're gonna make him blush. He's gonna hide his face.
No, only insults. Only
insults.
Yeah, you can. I don't know.
Well, you're a millennial. How about that for an
understand.
insult?
I don't identify as a millennial, and if I can identify with get to pick my gender identity, I sure be able to pick my generation.
Well, they love your podcast, but your pickup truck theory is flawed, Sarah. Yes.
What?
Oh,
who said that?
Hey,
my pickup truck theory is flawed.
Your old pickup truck theory is flawed.
What is someone?
What is
someone enlighten us on what this is?
Okay,
yeah.
So I have this vision of getting a beat up old pickup truck.
Oh yeah. That's right.
That I can have the big Chewbacca type dog. Reese is kind of I'm learning how to deal with dogs and cars, and he's a purebred and golden retriever. So it's hard to beat that, but I want a bigger dog in there. But I like the old cars because I can, like I just said, I'm not mechanically inclined by nature. I've gotten a lot better, especially with cars, doing my own work. I want a car that has as few things that can go wrong with it as possible, and things that if they do go wrong, I can work on it myself. Whereas with newer cars, you're pretty much going to have to take it into a mechanic, and it's going to cost you a fortune to work on, which is exactly what happened with my last repair. I had to spend 2 weeks fighting them so that they wouldn't charge so much for the vehicle repair. So I wanted a car where if it's the spark plugs, okay, great. If it's the radiator, I can do that. If it's the engine block, great. I'll throw some sealant in the radiator and fix the cracks or something like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but it's stuff that I know how to deal with. And
Eden said no.
Oh,
He is a
okay.
mechanic.
So E5 Camry
Yeah, there
done.
you go. That's
Okay, so I had a Toyota Camry. They're actually pretty good to work on. That's the other thing is cars today are so impossible to work on. I have a Mercury Mariner, and it was not designed for someone to change the oil or the filter. It's
horrible.
And,
most new cars today.
Yeah, like my Volvo, I got a good deal on it. I would never buy a Volvo on my
You bought a Volvo.
Yeah, I had a compact Volvo. Now, granted, I got that thing up to 250,000 miles, and so I got a lot of good mileage out of that car before it ended up, going to the dump, going to heaven. But I want to, like I was saying, I want a car that I can work on. That I'm not going to get so overwhelmed with the amount of crap that could be wrong with it.
Well, Eaton, you said you're a mechanic, and then TJ's truck theory is flawed. What would be a good truck for him that he could get and work on?
I was figuring like an old Ford or a GMC or something like that, but I would never have the pickup truck as my regular vehicle. I would want to have a backup.
Volvo is so Seattle. Is this true?
It's true. No. It's true. That's another thing. So I bought it. I bought it from someone I knew from Seattle for a good deal. It was probably, I think, half the value of the actual car. So it was just, I got a good deal, but now I've got to go. I don't know. That's where I'm at. I live in a rural area. I want to buy a pickup truck. I don't want to be driving around anything that's going to get me mistaken for a 20. They call them 206ers. That's the area code from Seattle.
206ers.
Yeah, they're like, oh, dude, you got to watch what you say in front of him. He's a 206er. And then I got to assure him, I'm like, yeah, he's going to be offending anybody around here. It's probably going to be what I say in front of you, and
probably, yeah, in your
they're
un-PC ways.
Yes, exactly. So
80s Toyota Mazda or a Nissan for old.
So what about the pickup? Are either one of those pickups?
I don't know. I think there were Mazda or Suzuki made this like
take a look.
2 or 3 cylinder little pickup truck. I remember I used to go to a day camp, and the maintenance guy there had it. It was like this real small little vehicle, and it had like 2 spark plugs.
Yeah, I'm getting a pickup truck. It's going to happen. It's going to be my.
That's funny. I want one too. I want like an old two-tone blue and white F-150 or some shit from the 80s.
Yeah, I love the 80s, and also I like the fact that the seating is
Rob shaking his head.
No, if you guys are gonna get fucking old, get a '57 Chevrolet pickup.
All right. Eaton's like, no. Oh, here you go. TJ and I are we're getting our motorcycles.
No.
with sidecars, and we're gonna put the dog in the sidecar, and it's gonna have the goggles and the white silk scarf. That's what's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Don't buy American.
Oh, you know what? That might actually be. If I ever get a motorcycle, I'm gonna have RJ redo the Mountain Pass podcast logo with me and a motorcycle
with Reese
and
on the back.
With Reese, in the sidecar.
That's true, but you know what they also make for smaller dogs and cats? I guess if you have to get them to the vet or you really want to take your pet with you, they have a small like pet carrier that you can put on the strap it to the sissy bar or whatever, the back seat.
Yeah. When I was married to my ex-wife, we had a little tiny Chihuahua Dachshund mix that we had a carrier that we'd strap on the motorcycle for the dog.
Was the dog scared shitless with that?
No, the dog wanted. There was a little spot at the top that you could unzip, and the dog could poke their head up without jumping out.
That's funny.
And so the dog would be sitting there. I mean, I remember. We were at a gas station in Mexican Hat getting fuel. And of course, she unzips the carrier to let the dog out so the dog could take a piss and walk around for a minute. And this guy comes rolling up on us, comes in his car, and he was writing a book he was a photographer writer, and he was creating this like a second volume because he had his first volume with him. But he chronicles all these little towns that he would go through and all the different stuff that he would see and the people he would talk to. Well, he had to interview my ex-wife because he had her sign a waiver and got out this fucking high dollar recorder and starts asking her about motorcycling with this dog on the back of the bike. And it was hilarious, man. But that was, something. The dog, it was a little scared at first because the bike's loud. I've got loud pipes on it. But after a little while, the dog got okay with it. And like I said, we'd unzip the top enough that the dog could get its head out. And so there would always be someone as we would be going down the road. The dog would have her head out. And of course, people would be like, look, fucking pointing, because here's the dog poking its head out to see what's going on. But we had that on the bike, man. So, yeah.
That cracks me up when I see a dog just hanging. It's just enjoying the air and its tongue's flapping. And
Reese won't do that.
No?
Reese will always, he just takes this, he's in the seat, like lying down, curled up or something. Or he'll hang his head, just slobber all over the shift. So I'll go to shift into, reverse.
Your hand slipping forward.
Well, there was that. I've told this story on my podcast. There's that one time, and maybe I discussed it here before, but there was that one time I was trying to get up that old abandoned service road, and it rained, so it was muddy, and it was a steep incline. It was like that, and so I didn't know. I got a 4-wheel drive, but you have no idea. So I'm ready to. I'm getting it ready to shift into the right gear, and Reese is just like slobbering all over it actively and not moving. So I'm having to almost shove him out, like desperately trying to keep this vehicle. Because there was a sharp turn along with it. So what I was afraid of is that it was going to fishtail. It's interesting that he doesn't like sitting next to the fireplace in my house. He likes sitting in the center of the house. He will not go over to the fireplace unless I call him over, and he will not sit by the fireplace for whatever reason. I'm not sure. The other one is like I was saying, he won't stick his head out of the window for whatever reason.
That's unusual.
Which is, if I had to pick, I'll take that one because it means he's not going to leap out of the car, right?
That's true too. Yeah, I guess that could be a fear. Rob, speaking of children on their phones and being,
what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, we see you over there looking down at your swimsuit area.
That's right. I'm looking at my crotch.
Yeah, my crotch.
Looking at my crotch. Going, yeah, you're a big guy. Yeah, you're a big guy.
This has devolved into. Jesus Christ. What are you drinking over there, Rob?
I am drinking Pepsi Zero.
Okay.
It's, it doesn't have sugar, but I'm sure it's got something else that'll lower my tea and kill me. So I'm all good.
Yeah, there you go. I had some tea earlier, but then I added my half and half cream to it and realized it was curdling. It was bad. So
adding cream to coffee or sugar lowers your tea, right? You know that. All you have to do is watch Twitter. They'll tell you that.
Well, that's where I get all my information, and I follow that to the T.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm drinking tea for my tea, and I follow it to the T.
That's right.
Because, it's plastics and cream and anything. It's all soy. Everything is soy.
Everything is, I know. I love that. Soy this, soy that. It's funny because back when I was practicing Kung Fu, most of the students were on a vegetarian diet, and I refused to do that. I mean, I stopped eating meat for a while just because I had lost the taste for it. I was still eating chicken and fish and turkey and whatnot. But I had milk at the time would mess with my stomach, large quantities of milk. So for my cereal and things like that, and the rare occasion I wanted to have milk, I would try soy. I'm like, this really tastes like shit. But in your oatmeal, a little bit in your oatmeal or your cereal, it's not too bad. But now I've gotten away from it. I just like, fuck it. The rare occasions that I do have oatmeal or rare occasions that I do still eat cereal, I'll just put, whole milk in it. So anyway, I know that's fascinating, but all this talk about soy and shit.
Well, it's just I haven't, I kind of stay off Twitter unless it's, the direct message stuff. Cause every time I get on, I'm seriously looking at it going, okay, these are the people I follow. And when I first started following them, it was actually, entertaining. It was good. It was knowledgeable. And now it's like it's devolving. And it's
Right.
just like, okay, we got beefs, we got guys calling each other out. You got these dipshits that are, you're a G, you're not a G. If you're doing this, you're soy. And it's like, oh my God,
Yeah,
fuck,
it's just,
we're back in third grade.
Yeah, I get
And-
it. Part of it's just like everyone trolling each other and being silly. Because
Well-
I mean, you can't take Twitter too seriously. It's just it's just a fucking joke.
Well, it's
Well, I
almost
think the
as
problem
bad
is-
as Facebook. Oh my God.
Yeah, that too.
I think that that's the problem I'm having with Twitter and all these different social media is it allows. So there are advantages or benefits or positives. The fact that we've been able to connect and all that, and with other people, including some of the great guests that we've had on the show. But at the same time, the bitter with the sweet is that people that I would have never and should never and would never want to ever come into contact with have access to. I see stuff on Twitter every single day or on Facebook where it's just so much garbage that's not. It's almost like an analogy is imagine someone with their hands over their ears like this, and they're just shouting out random stuff at the top of their lungs. But they're not listening. They're not listening to what anyone else is saying, and what they say is not based on what somebody actually says.
That's true. Well, most of the social media is just pissing into the void anyway. I mean, that's really what it is. It's
What is
fun.
the great thing about technology and social media? Hey, everyone gets to have a voice. What's the bad thing about it? Everyone gets to have a voice.
Yeah, join us and piss into the void along with us.
I mean, this was the whole point of like social clubs, gentlemen's clubs. I'm not talking about the places where like more libertine areas. I'm talking about where men would go to a club and they would play cards, they would sing, they would do all this other stuff. Quintus Curtius had a podcast on a social club that Dr. Johnson, the guy who wrote the dictionary for the English, he started a club when he was older. And so the whole point is you get together like-minded, kind of like a cigar lounge. That's what I really want. Is we need a cigar lounge.
The first masculine geek cigar lounge. Yeah.
Well, I think that Masculine Geek is kind of a cigar lounge of sorts where.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially when we're lighting up.
It's a virtual cigar lounge.
Yeah. And you talk like this, see?
Yeah.
There's going to be one episode where we talk nothing
That's all we talk like.
Look, you son of a bitch.
Be quiet there, Vince. Yeah.
Stop. Put down that coat.
You guys in the chat, you peanut gallery, when you go away, boy, you bother me.
That was really good. That's W.C. Fields.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah, I can do him on occasion.
All right.
And so the whole thing is we want to be able to keep out people whose voices don't add any value as we see it. And so we like we can have, and also we want to attract the kind of men who are going to have those kind of conversations, or at least listen to one of those type of conversations where there's a lot of people I really, if I never heard them or never saw their tweets, I would be better off. They're actually,
see? Sorry, I am totally.
And you're getting on my ass for staring at my phone, and you're over there. TJ's trying to say something meaningful, and you're like, "Yeah, see."
Yeah, look, say something meaningful, see. Sorry.
No,
TJ,
what we need to do is it's kind of like Patreon and some of these other things. It's like you want to get rid of some of the dipshits that just, like you say, covering their ears and screaming.
You make them
charge
pay
money.
You'll find out who's serious and who's not. Yeah.
Yeah. All the guys that, I could look that up on the internet for free. It's like, go fuck yourselves.
Do that again?
I could go look that up on the internet for free. And it's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Well, no, it's I think that's the next stage, because we've highlighted a problem with social media today. Now, people say you can have the block button or whatever, but I think it's just we're talking about 95% of what I see on social media is garbage. It's not adding value to, but I got to sift
only
through
95%.
I'm being generous.
Yes, you are.
Right, 95, and So getting rid of all that, but I think that the next stage is to move on to different platforms or just do other stuff and do what we're doing right now.
And creating our
But
own platforms as well.
yeah, and create our own platforms, but they're not there for everybody. They're just there. We need to create these cigar lounges for the 21st century. We need to create the men's clubs of the 21st century where the people who are that the platform or the venue exists for get to control and restrict who's allowed in, so that we can preserve the quality and caliber of the venue. Because if you can't control that, I was using an example in my podcast about the only private park in New York City. It's got a wall around it. It's got a fence, and it restricts who's allowed in and out. And that improves if you go look at it, you will note two things. There's no homeless people. There's no drug addicts. There's no mentally ill people, and there's no garbage spread over. There's no homeless encampments. So every time you are building something, you need to be able to defend the boundaries and the perimeter of what you're whether it's physical fighting or metaphorical, but you need to be able to keep people out who are there to either destroy it or they're just going to ruin it because they're bad characters.
I agree with you absolutely. That's very true.
Right.
So, and I think you mentioned Quintus Curtius not too long ago, and I would love to see him. We have to get him on the show. That's so. If you're listening, or pass it along. You're coming on the show, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Well, well, and it's also where social media today is also becoming a venue where people follow each other to catch someone else saying something that they can use to get them in trouble with their boss, their employer. They can whip up an online social mob against them, or they use it to people who are miserable and have nothing going for them get to go harass people who are actually trying to build stuff.
I've noticed that if you actually pay me, if you really delve in and if you notice on Twitter and Facebook and all the social media platforms, the trolls are people they have nothing going on, absolutely nothing. So they're going to go ahead and try to tear you down, or the whole crab in the bucket mentality.
One of the guys is asking if we're going to do any James Bond. So I mean, we can do a little bit of it. We've discussed it in the past, and I know that there's a new Bond film coming out. And I'm not sure how I feel at this point because I didn't go see the new Avengers film. We've already talked about that enough. I'm just at the point where I'm asking, what is the purpose of Bond? They may come out with a Bond movie, but is it the same James Bond that we watched in the 60s? And I think the answer is no. He's not the same Bond. They will not allow the James Bond in the 1960s, the Sean Connery Bond that we all love. They're not going to allow him that kind of character to be permitted in movies. And they've already talked about how this new film is going to have those. And this thing has been going on since the 90s. They made M a woman when it had been traditionally a man, and she always had this antagonistic relationship with Bond, whereas in the books, M is this almost fatherly figure to Bond. So they've already been ruining a lot of stuff over the years, and I think it's reached the point where the narrative, the context in which Bond existed, isn't being portrayed, so the character doesn't make any sense. Like, what is James Bond about? And in how are those values tolerated or accepted in our postmodern society? He's going to be next because they've been going after all these different film either actors or singers. I think James Bond at some point they're going to just start destroying that legacy. They're going to go after Ian Fleming for stuff that he said or did, and then they're going to who knows. But I'm not terribly excited about Bond anymore. I think it's the series has run its course. Unless they want to go back to the novels, they want to go back to the original series. They want to do what Dalton was trying to do in the 80s and people did not latch onto it, is you go back to the source material and you try and tell Bond as the author envisioned him, rather than trying to project your own values onto a character that's not yours. Bond has a lot of he's kind of, he smokes, he's a chain smoker. He eats bacon and eggs religiously every morning in the books. He's kind of a cold-blooded killer, and he's got that upper British particulars about his taste, about his cufflinks, about his clothes, about his watches, the suits that he wears. But he's also representing a post World War II British sense of sensitivity to the fact that they are no longer the top dog anymore. And I think that that's seen in the books. And so that would be an interesting thing to do with the character, but they're not going to do that because that would be thinking creatively. And that's not what we see in the entertainment industry for the most part. But I will note, going back to the Avengers, from what I understand, Brie Larson was not featured very heavily in this most recent film.
That's what I hear.
I don't know how much the rumors are true, but from what I understand, and who knows if it's completely there's not an element of truth, but that they had two different versions of the film, or that they'd done editing based on whether the film was going to do well or not, the Captain Marvel film. And I think what happened is they saw that I don't know, or maybe they just were overhyping her film, and they were going to put her in anyways, and they're just like, kind of like how you expect somebody to play a bigger deal in something and they don't, and that was never the intention, because she's only on for 15 minutes. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was the book that got James Bond on the American map.
Yeah,
it did well.
This is actually going to be sent out to you, TJ, soon. It's the first printing.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's 1964.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah. So, and I got some stuff heading out to Rob too. I've been really getting into a lot of the pulps, like Doc Savage, Conan. So, but yeah, this was there's a used bookstore near me that I really love that carries all these. He just keeps them rolling in too. So,
yeah,
maybe when you guys are out here, we'll stop there on the way.
Yeah, hell yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, because what you can do is just get a truckload of books, and I'll ship them to you.
Well, a bookstore is like a porn shop to me, man. It's like,
absolutely,
man,
yeah.
You hit the kid in a candy store.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. And this one's nice because it's like an old cabin. It's got the wooden floors and the walls. It's really cool.
Do the floors creak and kind of?
Yeah, and it's really he's like around. It's great around Christmas time because he's open late for the Christmas holiday, and when it's in the evening and it's snowing out and you're in this warm cabin, it's fantastic.
So somebody, Eaton is saying that Thunderball was the most balanced Bond movie. I think it's got a very good case because it wasn't nearly as over the top in some ways. What happened? What's going on here?
Thank you, Eaton. I appreciate that.
Eaton's man crushing on Vince's head.
No, I think,
dude, you don't have to be gay. It's okay. You can be straight and still want to be, doing the butt thing. It's all good.
What? Jesus Christ!
Go
away! You're weird. Jesus Christ! Fuck.
Yeah,
yes.
The most homoerotic episode ever.
I know, right? We're going everywhere on this episode. This is a good one. It's going to be good to title this one too.
The most
it's going to be called
ever.
"Goddamn Vince, Your Hair."
Yeah.
And it is.
But if I was gay,
Yeah. See. So, Rob, go ahead and give your hour mark speech.
Oh, yeah. It's 8:00, or at least 8:00 my time. Hey, guys, it's our top of the hour. So I got to check something here. See what you peanut knuckleheads in the gallery, if you've been following up. Oh, you haven't. Guys, come on. I'm seeing like 17, 18 guys right now watching, and I'm seeing only 10 likes. Come on, guys, like the video. Subscribe if you haven't, and hit the little notification bell.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you do have beautiful hair.
Well, it was even better when it was down to my shoulders 4 years ago.
Well, that was back when you were in your rock star 40s.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm older than all of you here.
I know you're the old man. We know that.
Ralstoning Report. We're going to make an official announcement probably the end of this show. Now that you've jump started it, we were going to do so last time. I think we forgot.
Yeah,
but I'm making arrangements with a restaurant down in Atlantic City for Friday night, and this way, if people want to fly in or drive in, they can just grab a hotel room so they're not driving home.
Well, you might as well bring it out right now, Vince, since you're.
Let's talk about it now. I don't have the official venue yet, but when we do, we get a private room. It's going to be 12 seats, so that's minus 3 of us, and there's going to be 8 or 9 available. We may just hold one extra just in case, but there's going to be 8 or 9 slots. So it's basically first come, first served. And then once we announce that, we'll start getting in. I mean, we may have a form or a special email that you email to see if you want to do that. And the price is not that expensive. I think it's like $50 or $60 for a 4-course meal, including dessert and coffee. Drinks are extra, but the first round is on us. So that's how
You'll
that
get course
goes.
light.
you're getting swill. No, anything you want. It's and it's on TJ actually.
Actually, I'm thinking I got a bottle of wine tucked away for a good occasion, so I might bring that out. It's from my area, and It's got a very special design on the cover. So
cool.
Is it a pink pussy hat?
Yeah, no. Not quite.
We need to white label some wine ourselves and have the Masculine Geek label. We got to Masculine Geek everything.
Man, I've just learned that, man, you people on the East Coast, you love your red wine sweet. I mean, you like it sweet.
There's a lot of Concord grapes in the area, especially the Finger Lakes region and the Pine Barrens. Pine Barrens here in New Jersey, because of the high acidic value of the soil, it seems to be perfect for some kind of grape. Certain types of grapes, and Concord grape seems to flourish.
I mean, your guys' Merlot is like a Riesling. I just remember we were at Gettysburg.
Well,
we were doing that.
Well, that was actually that was a Concord grape. That red blend that we had, that was a Concord grape. Yeah, that's basically alcoholic grape juice. It's called Chemung Red. So but I'll pick up some of that. We'll have it. Maybe I'll bring it to the rest. Sneak it in the restaurant or on wine. Yeah. So but it's good. It's good stuff.
That, I'll bring a couple of flasks. We can bootleg it in that way too.
You do that? Yeah, absolutely. And the official Masculine Geek flask.
Masculine Geek cigars, Masculine Geek wine.
I can't promise I'll have the hair this length. I may chop it off again so I can not have helmet head for the motorcycle helmet.
Oh, come on now. We like your locks.
Apparently I have to grow it out. Jesus Christ, you fuckers. Now I gotta buy product for it and everything.
That's right. Style it, gel it.
God damn. You fuckers costing me money already. Oh shit. Rob, you don't have to it's nice. You take a shower, you take a washcloth and go boom, you're done.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I envy that.
Well, I'll tell you, and that kind of reminds me something that I'm going to talk about that for just a second here. There's a little context. Okay. Thinking of being bald. All right. First off, I remember, it was probably a couple weeks ago, some guy on Twitter. Yes. We're going back to Twitter for a second.
Oh my God.
But he was asking the Twitterverse, hey, I'm thinking he's losing his hair. And he's, so he's wondering, should I do like a high and tight or should I do something else? He mentioned a couple different hairstyles, but he was definitely talking about going short. Well, I jumped in, of course, and said, shave it off, because when I was back in my late 20s, I started losing my hair, and I, carried that for, I don't know. Well, let's see. It was probably, I was around 24 when I started losing my hair, and it was probably around 30. Well, shit. I was probably about 30 when I decided to shave my head, really close to 30, right around there. And the thing is I went, back then Rogaine was just coming out and it was prescription only. You had to go see a dermatologist. And I'd heard about it, so I thought, well, let's go talk to a dermatologist. He told me all about it, the pros, the cons. He told me what my options were about hair loss, and said, you can do the rug, the toupee thing, where they've got ones that look very authentic, very real. People won't know the difference. You can do the hair surgery, but the problem with the hair surgery is your hair loss isn't really going to stop till you're probably in your mid to late 40s, about how old I am now. And so you may have to have multiple surgeries over time to stop where it keeps advancing. Well, I decided fuck it and went home, thought about it for a while, and then shaved my head. And it was the greatest thing I ever did, because for me, it was, I didn't know what my head was going to look like. It's like, I could, end up having a cone head or something like that. I mean, I know some guys that have some pretty weird shaped heads, but I used to, my hair was kind of my thing when I was back in my late teens, early 20s. I had really long hair. And so doing the whole hair product thing and wind and rain and all that shit was my enemy. And now every day is a good hair day. And I haven't had to go have my hair cut. I don't have to spend a fortune on products, on shampoos. I just put a little soap on my scalp, take a cheap razor, zip, shave it right back down. And I remember that because I knew it was going to happen, because it's Twitter, that I knew some dipshit was going to come on and be like,
Dipshit.
well,
It's a funny word.
well, yeah, because it's true, man. Because I knew that some dipshit was going to come on and be like, that's not necessarily the way to go. And you know what? That is exactly what the guy said. That some other dude comes on, and he brought up the whole weird shaped head thing and scars and all that. And I'm just like, oh my God, you binary motherfuckers. It's like, Jesus Christ. The guy's asking for advice. And yes, I'm only using what I know from from in-person experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you, if your head, is weird shaped or whatever it is, whatever you got left, you can grow it back out. Because I could grow out my hair. I just choose not to at this point. Yeah, exactly. Work out, don't be fat, shave your head if that's the case. Yeah, exactly, Mike. You don't need it. And that's one thing that I can say. I don't know about other guys who've shaved their heads. Mike might be able to attest to this. I don't know. But I know, like, before I shaved my head, anytime I was interacting with anyone, whether it was men, women, it didn't matter, but especially with women, I was always very conscientious and very self-conscious that as I'm talking to them, I'm thinking in my head, now, are they looking at me or are they looking at my receding hairline? Okay. Well, literally the moment I shaved my head and it was all gone, I had to take scissors, cut it down, and then take like a trimmer and shave it down to peach fuzz and then bick it after that. It took me like an hour the first time I ever did it. But the minute I did it, there was the shock of, holy shit, this is what I look like bald. But my insecurity about, are they looking at my bald head, went away, like right then and there. Because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, well, of course they're looking at my bald head. Of course they are. If the only way I could get any more bald than this is you'd be seeing bone. Because it's right to the skin. The only reason I even wear this thing on the show is because I've got a light hanging over me for lighting, that if I take this thing off, the shine from my head will fucking blind you guys. And so that's why I wear the beanie on, my shows, your shows, everybody's shows.
And the beanie's pretty badass looking.
Well, and it works. But that's the reason I wear it, is because the glare that can come off of my head, the shine, it can blow out my camera, where it, the white signal, I guess, gets way blown out. And so that's why I wear the beanie, is otherwise it's, oh shit, damn dude, it's a spotlight going on. But it's damn straight, ever since I shaved my head, I've had, even before my mom died, she was like, do you ever think you're going to grow your hair back? And it's like, I haven't had hair in almost 20 years. Well, yeah, it's been almost 20 years. Am I going to grow it back? No. Why would I? I'd have to go, pick up go to a barber again, or a hairstylist or something. I'd have to buy a shampoo. I'd have to buy a brush and a comb.
That's true.
I have one that's for my beard, but I wouldn't want to use that for my head. And then I'd have to worry about wind and rain and helmet, hair helmet to helmet hair that you're talking about. It's like, yeah, I don't have that problem.
Yeah, that's nice.
So definitely, if you're a guy that's watching this right now, or if you watch it on the replay later and you're losing your hair and you're wondering what to do about it, seriously, shave it off.
Mm-hmm.
Shave it off entirely. You probably will look better than you think you'll look. And even if you don't, even if, oh my God, I am a cone head, or oh my God, I am the elephant man, it's all good. You grow
What
it
is
back.
What is it?
Good, but you can grow it back. But seriously, don't worry about cutting it short and trying different hairstyles. Just shave that shit off. It's liberating, man. It is absolutely liberating. It's just like, oh, wind, rain, sun, it don't matter. It's every day is a good hair day. So fuck it. Shave your head. And if you don't like it, then you can always grow it back. And then you can grow it, okay, well, I'm gonna, keep it this short or whatever. Do that. But oh, absolutely, Butte. Bald is a fetish for some ladies. Well, every woman I've been with since I've shaved my head, that's one of the things they liked. They're like, oh my God, I'm totally into you because you are bald.
Yeah, when you're with your lady friend, your lover, do you ever? We're getting intimate here, but do you ever have her shave your head?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That was one of the things, that we would take showers together, and mostly just for the intimacy.
TJ's like, I'm not listening to this. I'm leaving.
Yeah, no shit. He heard that and he's out of here. Jesus, he's 32 or whatever, going on 12. But yeah, no, we would take showers. Part of it was time. Just, hey, let's both jump in, and that way we get it all taken care of. And we would do it also as a way to bond. That it's like, okay, and that's, yeah, I would totally hand her the razor, and here you go, and she would shave my head for me. She'd shave my neck and, kind of trim up the little spots that I'd miss. It was good stuff. Yeah, Mike's having a ball with your hair, dude. He just wants to put his hands through it.
All you guys. Jesus Christ.
I'm
shaving it.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, they'll like you even better then.
I know, right? Well,
He's
I had
got
it.
Yeah, baby. He's got it.
I had it short a little, like when we first, like 4 episodes ago.
Yeah.
And now it's getting longer. I just kind of like push it back, a little bit of product in it.
Yeah. See, that's too much work for me. I'll just now give me the razor and 5 minutes in the shower. I'm good. The peanut gallery is on you tonight, man.
They are. It's kind of cool. No, I love you guys. You're all cool.
Yeah.
I was married back in 2002, and that lasted all of a whopping year. And then was a man whore for a very long time. And then I was in long-term relationships.
Whore being the key word here. Whore being the key word.
Oh yeah, all kinds of infidelities on my part, on their part, all kinds of. I have a very varied life experience, and one day we'll have a what do you call it? A confessional? A confessional about that. Absolutely. I'll be an open book. I'm sure there are a lot of people watching who would like that.
Apparently.
Yeah.
They want to know about your hair. What product is your hair, soft and silky, or is it kind of that coarse feel?
Right now it's kind of soft.
This conversation has gotten really weird. I'm just starting out there.
We figured that's why you got up and left.
Yeah. No. I'm out of here. I can't do this.
Yeah.
No, I had somebody at the door.
Oh, okay.
Did you shoot them?
Do they have nice hair?
Did you shoot them to find out if they had nice hair?
Yeah.
Vince, open podcast, please.
Jesus.
What's an open podcast? I don't know.
I think what they're saying is where we get to ask you any question and you have to answer it.
Yeah.
Like truth or dare?
Yeah.
No, truth or dare is you can avoid it by doing the dare. No, what they're saying is open book, where everything is open to
TJ isn't getting laid.
Man.
I appreciate that you guys like my hair and that. Thank you. I love you all. You're good gentlemen. Thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely naming this one the most homoerotic episode ever. And Vince's hair, oh my God.
Next week on Masculine Geek, Vince talks about how he styles his hair.
That's right. It's open mic night on Vince.
I just use a little bit of product. I don't even remember the name. It's like a paste or a putty. And in the morning after a shower, I just run it through the hair and push it back. And then that's it. And I forget about it the rest of the day. So there you go.
No, you don't.
No, it's true. I don't mess with it. God damn. You fuckers.
What? Me? I'm not the one.
Not you. These people in the chat and shit.
Oh, us too, TJ. He can lump us in. It's all good.
Yeah. All you fuckers. Yeah,
Oh,
see,
yeah.
you got fuck
Go
you.
away, boys. You bother me.
Go away, boys, you bother me. Well, in my day, we styled our hair with mud.
Yeah, that's right. And not
we
this
just-
mud you buy in the store. We actually
No, we
use
went out
mud.
with we went out in the garden hose and in the mud dirt and just kind of crop that in there.
No, they would grab the gel and they do they slick it back. Everybody was doing the greaser thing back in the 50s.
Oh yeah. I don't remember. It's really weird now that we're talking about it. I don't remember at what point I became cognizant of my hair. Like when I was a kid, you didn't give a shit. Your parents
14.
took you. 14, maybe, yeah.
That for me. It was. I can tell you that it was 14.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
How about you, TJ?
Yep, 14.
I'd say I'd say 8th grade because my hair, because of the way that my hair has always been, it's got something like it'll go a certain direction and that's it. And so it's really, it keeps things simple, but I just don't really have to spend a lot of time on it. But barbers can get it wrong. Just
That's true. You got to go to well, not for nothing. When you obviously we already talked about this when you're coming out, we're going to get our hair done, styled, and our beard sculpted by Mr. George Bruno.
I'm gonna get my hair cut. I don't know what to say. Done. That's something that a gal says. Oh, we're gonna go get our hair done.
No, we're
getting your hair done.
We're getting our hair done. God damn it, done.
Yeah, you're getting your hair done.
You're getting your hair done. Yeah, whether you like it or not. See, we're gonna see how you have it parted on the one side. We're just gonna push it over to the other side, so it's different.
Be a whole different guy. It'll be like Clark Kent and Superman.
Exactly.
When Christopher Reeve did that.
That's right. He did.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Hey Vince, you got to read the chat.
What? My ass is not greasy.
Good night, folks.
Yeah, like go on.
Yeah, that all, folks.
Jesus Christ.
God
damn you people.
And the best part is looking at TJ because it's just like you kids. God damn it. I don't know how I put up with you guys.
Gee willikers.
Gee willikers.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, it's like TJ's like, is Aaron on tonight? Has he got a show? I think I need to go on his show tonight.
I know, right? Yeah. You're talking about greasy asses and banging them, you people. Jesus Christ. I mean, trying to find a picture with an older picture of me with hair when I was a kid, like trying to like, hey, this is what it actually looked like.
Did they have cameras back in those days when you were a kid?
They just came out and they had
the Polaroids.
In that cover they had to pull over you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And just hold it right there.
What?
Hold it right. Well, that's why nobody smiled in old photographs because it would take so long for them to process. You would have to sit there straight face. Yeah, that's why somebody said that's why they because most people, if you're laughing, they can't capture that in the frame for the most part.
Gotcha.
I thought it was just because everyone was pissed off because the world sucked more than it does now.
Well, there's that. I mean, that's a byproduct.
I mean, yeah, but I'm sorry. Then explain how there's so many guys with the gaping hole, smile,
Gaping
Oh, you mean that the new male look? That.
Oh yeah. What was that?
No, I'm done.
What was that? I missed it. No.
Tough shit. Fuck.
Come on. I'm gonna go back and watch it now.
We can go back and watch it then.
I'm gonna put on a loop. You and Aaron Clarey when he does that dick sucking thing. He's like, ngong, ngong, all the time.
That, you go for it.
Hysterical.
Yeah, the new male grimace. That's
the new male grimace. All right.
I
can't find one. There's nothing. These are all camping photos.
Oh. Well, come on. I'm sure the peanut gallery would like to see, young Vince camping.
No, actually, they're not. It's all. Most of them are all scene photos and whatnot. So I'll find the ones of the camping photos. I'll find the ones with me in it. Yeah.
think. Oh, I've got some photos of my hikes. Some of these are from my childhood, so those are verboten.
Verboten.
Not for. So here is, for example, this is from. It's called the Kendall Catwalk.
Oh wow.
Nice.
That's one. Let's see, what was another good one? This was from my climb when I was doing Kashmir Mountain.
Okay.
That was a 17-mile hike, and I did it in a day. It was interesting. Let's see what else we got here. These are from Lake Wenatchee, which is in the local area. These are
wow.
small photos. Unfortunately, I can't make them that much bigger because they weren't high definition. They were taken with a cell phone. So,
You got any of the falls? You got any shots of the falls?
I don't. That's been a little over. This was an interesting climb I did. That's Chumstick Snag, which is near Leavenworth. And then this is actually one of my favorite photos right here.
Oh wow.
Aaron's actually done that hike, so he had a photo on his blog.
That's really cool.
Ago. And then this is Reese.
I love that photo where it's a photo. It's a shot like that, but he's like his eyes are squinty.
I know exactly which one you're talking about.
I love that one.
Okay. 1 second, let me pull it out. There are other photos in this album that are T-17 classified.
It looks like he's like, you have to have like a thought bubble over his head.
Yeah.
It looks like he's thinking something there.
Like, really? Yeah. You're going to do this again?
You know?
That's another good one. Oh, there's... okay, this one's pretty good. I'll take this back in.
Yeah. His big tongue flapping out there.
He is as the great one would say, he is.
You're breaking
up.
A
very retarded wolf.
Yeah,
big
that's
time.
right.
So I'm breaking up. Oh, gotcha.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh. Who here liked Scooby-Doo as a kid?
I loved Scooby-Doo as a kid.
It's kind of a stupid show, but it's hilarious because it's so formulaic. But and also Hanna-Barbera at the time was doing this very bare bone budget animation where a lot of the shots were from the waist up. They didn't like to show the full person, and then they would have the action or the crashes or the lots of motion off screen, and then everyone would hurry over and they've already ran to a wall, whatever.
Yeah, and so you've got Casey Kasem as Shaggy's voice, the top 40 man himself.
Was he really?
Yeah, Casey Kasem. Yeah.
Oh, Scoob!
Scoob! Zoinks! Yeah.
Really, I did not know it was Casey Kasem.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah.
And so it was just funny how that show, bad animation or just low budget, low grade animation, the same plot every single freaking show. That it almost, but for some reason it just took off because I think the predictability of the show was what made it fun.
Dog. So that's enough for nothing.
I mean, it was the exact same freaking thing. There'd be something scary, some mysterious has happened. Shaggy and Scooby are going to go off in that direction. Daphne and Fred are
away with it if it wasn't for you and your dog.
Kids, you and your damn kids.
And then of course Fred would say, "Me and Daphne are going to go this way, and you all can go that way."
Yeah, that's like
we know what was going on there.
Pretty much.
Just like what was in the Scooby snacks.
Yes,
exactly. There was actually up when I was a reporter in Kirkland, there was a guy who had tricked out his van that was the same model as the Mystery Machine, and he had painted it exactly the same. And we were always wanting to do a story on that. We never got around to it, but it's pretty funny. But we were always wondering, so it came out in the 60s, late 60s. So because I always argue that
1967, I think.
Yeah. And so what I can't believe is that there's still they still are coming up with new shows of it or new episodes, on the new version. But like, how many times can you do the exact same episode?
Well, when they added Scrappy Doo, that was horrible.
Yeah.
It's just.
Did you ever watch the episodes of Scooby Doo with Batman and Robin?
Yes, with all the
Super
celebrities
Friends.
they had, like Laurel and Hardy, and yeah,
It's just some of those old. I actually haven't. I've never really watched them, but they're the Super
the Super Friends.
Friends. So it was like
Yeah,
the Justice
the
League.
Justice League.
Yeah,
Yep.
back when this. And I watched one episode that we're talking years ago, and it was it's so cheesy. They have Superman running in some of the episodes. I've never seen Superman actually run in a cartoon before because he can fly. So why is he running?
I know, right?
Yeah, there were some good shows that came out back then around that time. But it's funny that that has still retained its people know about it. Like you can say, you should quote lines from it, and people will know what you're talking about.
It still holds up. There's a lot
Yeah.
of those old cartoons. All the Warner Brothers obviously hold up.
Yeah. Well, the problem with a lot of the Warner Brothers, as other people have pointed out, a lot of them are just not going to survive the purge.
Yeah.
There's Cappy and the Great One were going through an episode on Foghorn Leghorn and all of his funny sayings.
I say, boy. Yeah. Does anyone notice? Does anyone? Speaking of Johnny Quest, doesn't Mike Pence look like?
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say. Yeah, one of the main characters.
Yeah. I forget his name. The guy that can do everything. It's like the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Race Bannon. Race Bannon.
Yeah, they have him. There's a meme.
Is there?
Of him as like Mike Pence as that character or something like that.
That's fantastic. I gotta check that out. That's funny. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah, it's funny. What was another show? So Foghorn Leghorn had all those great lines, but a lot of them would never pass the censors today. In terms of,
and you do realize we're stealing our content for Saturday, and we're talking about it now.
We got plenty of stuff to chat about. We can. I can talk about the DC
here we go.
universe.
Keep it brief.
I'm not going to talk about it because
it does look like Sam the Eagle. This is ridiculous.
Who's Sam Neill?
Sam the Eagle from the Muppets. The Blue Eagle. He was all like, he would get indignant. Like,
he does, dude.
he had this like, he was serious and had this like very dignified manner. Like, he does.
Oh my gosh!
Shit.
The Muppet films, some of the old ones, are hilarious.
Mike Pence's Mission Impossible. That's funny.
No, gosh.
Yes, but yeah, you're right, TJ. We do have a lot of material to cover on Saturday, and that's a reminder on Saturday.
That's okay. We can always just cover your hair again. So
that is true. You fuckers. I'm wearing my cap on Saturday, you assholes.
Okay.
So yeah, on Saturday we're all wearing hats. I'm gonna get out my. I'm gonna get out my own beanie for that one. I have one. It's there's a.
I got a hat.
I got a hat. See, we're talking about my hat, TJ. Don't steal my thunder.
Yeah, we're not talking about your Seattle Seahawks hat.
Dude, my hat. First of all, my hat is gonna put all your hats to shame.
Oh yeah.
It will. It will.
Well, get it out now. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, see.
Yeah.
Without my car, I'll go grab it if people want.
No, we'll get it on Saturday. We'll do a hat competition.
If you want to find out what the hat looks like, you're gonna have to wait till Saturday.
Tune in on Saturday.
All right. So Saturday is remember when we think we talked about this briefly when you were a kid. Or actually, Rob, we all had the idea, but Rob, you were talking about as a kid on Saturday. So you go ahead and talk about that.
Was it me?
I think maybe.
No,
I think the original idea might have been mine, but you kind of augmented it with saying, "Hey, remember on Saturdays when you were a kid?"
Yeah. We used to get up, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, and you'd plop down in front of the TV with 3 channels and rabbit ears, and you'd watch Bugs Bunny and Hanna-Barbera. And now that you mentioned Scooby-Doo and all that, but I know I always used to get up
10:30, the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah. But get up and watch Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah.
Right. So that's going to be, we're not going to show cartoons. We're going to talk about things like that. So, yeah. Maybe one time we'd show a cartoon and kind of goof on it.
Yeah, do a Beavis and Butthead version on it,
Exactly. I think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. I am the Great Cornholio.
That's pretty good. You got to pull your shirt up over your head.
I need tippy for my bunghole.
Don't we all?
You know what's funny is my buddy was watching.
What the fuck?
We've kind of gone back to something nice.
You know what?
What is Vincent?
Hang on. Fuck you guys.
Oh, look what you did! You made him go and hide.
I'm going. Screw you guys.
Oh.
I'm going home. God damn it! The rat was. Yeah, the two antennas that got married. The ceremony was boring, but the reception was nice.
Oh shit! So now Vince is hiding. Look
No, I'm
what
back.
you guys did. Okay, there we go.
I'm back. Yeah, fuck you guys.
No, so my buddy and I were watching King of the Hill, and
Okay.
that was a pretty funny show because, of course, he's got the next door neighbor who's the conspiracy theorist, and they had some episode they were talking about like some kid had a gun and everybody's freaking out, and his neighbor just walks out with the beer can, and goes, "Guns don't kill people, government kills people."
Oh, that's true.
And then, of course, he's saying some stuff. he's saying, yeah. Well, no, it's just there's some episodes that like back then would have been hilarious, but almost ridiculous. But now you watch it and you're thinking, this is actually they're making a lot of good points, especially the conspiracy theorist guy. You know, he says stuff and they're all like, "Oh, he's cuckoo. He's a tinfoil hat guy." He's like, "The government's listening to all of our calls or whatever," and they're all writing him off. And then nowadays, he's like, it's like just our phone calls. They're listening to more than just that.
Yeah, if you've got one of them devices that you have in your house, what is it, the Echo or something from Amazon, and
Yeah, fuck
like,
that.
hey,
They're listening to that
wiretap,
shit.
can you pull up the how to make brownies or whatever? So
Yeah.
yeah, just our phone calls. Just like you putting your tape over your video and your audio, yeah, that's not keeping out the government, TJ. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
Shame.
That killed them.
Yeah, like what the hell? And the government's
Like, there's no hope.
There's
The
no hope.
government's watching shit.
Brought it all down.
And everybody's like, "Crap, we're gonna
There's gonna be pounding at the door. We're gonna get arrested.
And there's this guy who
Secret
does chats, speaks throughout the world, and he begins by saying, "If there are any federal agents in the audience, can you please stand up right now?" Because he's always assuming. He goes, "I assume there's one of you," or he just says, "I know that you're undercover, and I've already been told about your identity. Can you please just stand up and leave?" And he said at least on one occasion an agent's done that.
Wow, that's kind of funny, actually.
Yeah. No, we'll be tonight on Saturday about some great cartoons that came out, particularly in the 80s and 90s. I think that was a really good sweet spot for animation. I mean, even I guess the 20th century just had a lot of great. I mean, that was the era that cartoons were invented, but I think that there were some decades where, man, they were Warner Brothers and when Disney were both putting out good stuff. But I think Warner Brothers, a lot of theirs has held up better because it was just much more aggressive, and energetic. Whereas Disney's tended to be a little bit too much pie in the sky. Because Mickey was not a character who was going to go cause trouble the way Bugs Bunny would. Bugs Bunny will go hijack a plane and crash it.
Yes.
And then laugh about it while smoking a cigar and doing whatever, hitting on some guy's girlfriend or whatever. So
yeah. So that'll be. We're gonna do that probably at least once a month, maybe twice a month. So you can join us for that, and we'll have more like this one. We'll have interaction with the chat and whatnot. So with or without hair.
Yeah.
So we're doing hats on Saturday. So there you go. Take it in now, you bastards. You bastard. So yes. What the hell is this? All right, we're coming up on an hour and 40 minutes. Rob, you want to give one more? Because there's only from what I see, I only see 13 likes. That's dismal. That's disappointing.
I'm seeing 14 right now.
All right. Well, maybe that just shut up.
Maybe, but guys, if you're watching and you haven't liked the video, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so that you can get the notifications when we go on, especially where we're going to be doing cartoon Saturdays.
Yes. And go to the Masculine Geek YouTube channel. The reminder, the event for we always do that. Usually within a day or two after tonight, either tomorrow or Friday, I'll set up the event for next Wednesday. So it's always there, so you can go, make sure you bookmark it or set up the reminder, so you're aware and reminded when we go live, which is always good. I know we all, even in this digital age of instant gratification, we still need reminders for things. So yes, that's it. I got nothing else.
That's all I got. That's all I got to say about War in Vietnam.
We got to get the soundboard. We have the crickets on the rare occasions that we have silence. Not too often. We're usually running off at the mouth.
We like to talk over each other.
We do. We have to stop doing that. TJ.
Me, I'm going on. Jerks.
I'm messing with it.
Yeah, I'm going on this great. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to talk about something. And then they're like, oh no, let's go on this rabbit trail and talk about my hair.
That's not my fault. These bastards are doing.
That's because we're just watching the peanut gallery. What can we say? Ooh, shiny! Look at they're talking about Vince's hair.
Yes, don't hate on my hair.
I don't think they're hating on it.
No, TJ is. TJ's hating on my hair.
No, I'm saying I'm trying to talk about. I'm talking about like Thunderball or Johnny Quest, and
it's
then we get
Johnny Quest. We should talk about, not my fucking hair. Yeah, stop it. So, but yeah, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cartoons. I mean, Johnny Quest, you couldn't get away with that cartoon now. Oh,
that was I remember watching it as a kid, and I thought it was violent. I had to make sure my dad wasn't in the room. He'd see it and be like, "We're not having this garbage."
My favorite Johnny Quest one was the one with that they had to go to this island, and there was this invisible monster that this guy accidentally created, and the noise that it made when it walked, just as a kid, just scared the shit out of me.
I mean, there was some Batman animated episodes that I have the whole collection, so that's why we're going to be talking about it extensively. But there's one episode where the detective is talking about crystal meth on a kid's TV show. Oh yeah. And they actually had to fight the censors because they would not allow you to shoot a gun on a kid's cartoon. And if you watch G.I. Joe, you'll notice that they shoot lasers. They don't shoot real guns. And so the Bruce, Tim, and all these other of the show creators had to say, look, we're not having them shoot lasers in a 1930s era Batman show. Like, we're trying to tell a good story, and it's vital that we be grounded in that reality. And so they actually allowed them to do that. But they also had stuff in those episodes that was kind of amazing. They actually I used to have a sheet that showed all the things they had tried to put into some episodes, and they were saying this didn't make it in. There was one note that they were sending back to the editor saying, I know it's going to break our hearts, but that comment by the Penguin about picking up the soap in jail needs to go.
Jesus.
I think they just tossed stuff in to see what they could get away with. And sometimes the censors would be so much that they would miss
they would miss something. Yeah, that makes sense. That's kind of funny, actually.
And so, and then there's ones where they're saying, this girl's in too risque of a outfit. She looks like a prostitute. This guy, we can't have this much blood in this one scene. Batman can't tell some guy to go to hell.
Sure you can.
Well, I'm just saying, for a kid's cartoon, it was just stuff they were trying to get into the episodes, which is some of them were pretty funny. Where they were intentionally trying to just get a rise out of the people who had to review it.
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry. All right, no, I'm done.
Yeah, checking your phone. Yeah, now that's two of you.
No, I'm not checking my phone.
I just did very briefly. I would make sure it wasn't something for work. We're doing a email migration, so yes, we're all good.
Is there a way on this Hangout to I know you can do the screen share, but is there a way to show something else, because now that you mentioned Johnny Quest, I got something to show you. Well, actually, I can screen share it.
You can screen share. I think you can pick either a specific piece of software or your whole desktop if you want.
Well, I'm gonna try and see if I can get it. See if I can show what I got. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Yeah, this will work.
That's it. That's the episode. Yeah, that I love that That's a great monster, and it was invisible. They poured paint over it so they could see it.
Yeah,
But the noise that it made,
it was a warbling. A woo!
Yeah, it was like really like it just scared the hell out of me. But I loved it so much. I still do. That's one of my favorite episodes. Speed Racer. Yes, I did enjoy Speed Racer as a kid. Yep. But thank you for that, Rob.
Hey, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because that's when it was coming right up on them to get them type of thing.
And they were wearing these Cowboy Bebop, of course, Cowboy Bebop. They were wearing these air-filled, like compressed air jetpacks that they could fly around in. I'm not sure how they steered, but they did. It's kind of weird. But yeah, obviously Cowboy Bebop. I'm actually going back and rewatching that.
Yeah, I just finished. We talked about this, but I finished watching the whole show, and it's I was really impressed with the episodes. Some of them were a little.
Value is amazing.
There was one or two that I, almost wrote off the series because it was such a weird. There's some weird stuff, but if you just ignore it, that one thing, it doesn't. I was thinking, is this going to be a recurring thing in this show? And thankfully, that wasn't the case. The soundtrack's great, and I really like Spike's character, the Spike Spiegel, the main character. So I thought the storytelling was also very good. There was and the music was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
So my hope is somebody takes that and is able to the elements that made it a great show and can come up with a new show. Not that it's not the same, it doesn't have the same plot, but has the same archetypes or the same, and not the exact same structure where you have a group of people like that. But you look at what made the show great and you use that as inspiration to make something new, because and you always, I think they were wise to end it where it's at, because it's always better to have people wanting more, because then they're going to go create something else. Whereas the series that fizzles out because it's like a zombie almost, and it's painful to watch, and it leaves you with almost the same thing with Star Wars, where you think of what it could have been, and it's better to think about what it could have been but hasn't been done than looking at what's been done that ruined the possibility of doing something better.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop went out on a very good note. Yep, absolutely. And the movies, I said Cowboy Bebop went out on a very good note.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to watch the movie?
I haven't. I was able to watch the TV show for free, but I don't have access to the movie the same way I did with the TV show. So I'm gonna have to do. I'll see if the local library. I use my local library now as my Blockbuster, and ironically enough, it has a ton of film noir 1930s films and modern films too. So it's got a really good selection of stuff. So I go there now. I don't really go to the theater, and I don't really go to Redbox anymore to get stuff, because it's mostly, in my opinion, most of the stuff at Redbox now is just garbage.
I've actually never used the Redbox.
It's nice because you can just grab the movie and you're done, and you bring it back and you're done, and you don't even have to put it back at the same location. But what sucks about it is they just don't have any old films. It's all the latest films that have come out and all this other stuff. And so there's people like me this is what we liked about Blockbuster, is it tended to have a good selection of old films, new films, the latest film that came out. And now you can do that. You have
that's what is good about your local library, because you're going to get a selection of older films, even on VHS. So. Yeah,
and the other thing is you're already paying for those through taxes on the library, so might as well get your money's worth.
That's true.
Where you pay your taxes. So that's why it's almost a good idea to utilize your library as much as possible, because
you're paying for it.
You're paying for it, so might as well get as much as you can out of it.
Absolutely. Very true. All right, people. we're coming up on the 2-hour mark. It's getting very close. We've had a very interesting, a very interesting Masculine Geek podcast this week. And I assure you it'll only get even more interesting on Saturday. So, having said that, Rob, you want to lead off with your stuff you want to promote?
Yeah, you guys can find me at robsays.net. If you go to the contact page, you'll find the links for my YouTube channel, my Anchor channel, all that stuff. You can find it all there. But robsays.net, I post a couple of blog posts a week, at least a video a week, audio a week. So just find all my stuff there.
Excellent. You got it. Our pleasure. TJ, you're next.
Yeah, so you can go to tjmartinell.com. That'll have links to my podcast that you can find on SoundCloud. I'll have links to my books that you can get on Amazon. If you buy the physical copies, you get the digital copies for free. You can sign up for my newsletter. That's really just used as a periodical update on what's going on with my work and other stuff. And I also now have my podcast on YouTube. So if you type in Mountain Pass Podcast, there will be that if you enjoy watching it instead of just listening to it. And so we're going to be moving with that forward. And I'm also working on some new books. So if you buy them, just leave a review. Let me know what you think of them.
Yeah, come on the chat and talk to us about it. I'll be finished TJ's Men Who Walk Alone soon, and we can do a little book review about that.
Yeah.
So masculinegeek.com, we post articles up there more frequently now than we have before. Oh, you're welcome, Dick. We're on SoundCloud. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to get back on track with that. We're on SoundCloud. If you go on SoundCloud and you look up Masculine Geek, you'll find us. So if you want to listen to us while you're driving the car, you're working out, you're reading, doing whatever, you have a background, it's a good way to go. Let's see what else. Where else are we? Well, obviously here at YouTube. And yeah, it's not all. The Masculine Geek newsletter that drops every Monday morning. So you can start your Monday right with something interesting to read. You have something from all three of us, Rob, TJ, and myself, and we cover a variety of topics. I promise you it's all novel stuff. Most of it is content that we don't talk about here and we don't talk about on the website. So it's all fresh new content. So make sure you go up there and sign up for that. It's free. We don't spam you once a week. And we've heard good things about it, good feedback. We think you'll like it. So that's it, everyone. I recommend the Stringers. Oh, excellent. Thanks, Dick. Very cool. You see that, TJ?
Oh, nice. Yeah, thanks.
Very cool.
Appreciate it.
All right, everyone. Thank you for the chat. It's been fun. We had a blast tonight, and we'll see everyone on Saturday.
Yep. See you guys then.